How you doing, guys, and welcome to my channel. Now today I'm having a look at the Jaxon Xu head sculpt, replacement head sculpt and replacement drape cape for the Hot Toys MMS 595 Batman Begins, the atrocity that was the Batman Begins figure. Just having a quick look at the sculpt straight off the bat. I think it's immediately better than the Hot Toys one. You can see it comes with an extra faceplate there as well, and there is a little rubbery piece there that goes on the peg that goes into the sculpt that comes with the Hot Toys when you have to replace the peg. Oh, sorry, you have to use the same peg. We'll get into that a bit later on. I'll just box him up now for the time being. You can see the Wayne Enterprises logo on the front of the box there, which is a nice touch, and then we have the cape. But I'll just move up and just give you a quick look at the stock figure, the way he comes out of the box with the original Hot Toys head sculpt and the original cape. You can see how open it is there at the front, which is completely inaccurate. You can see it kind of makes the triangle shape that a lot of the Hot Toys capes make, which is inaccurate. It should drape down a bit more. I might add that this is a wired cape, and it has no intentions of being a drape cape. So if I can just get this camera a bit stable. And there we go. Or is it this camera mount is acting up on me? I'm gonna have to get a new one. Just trying to get the lighting right as well, guys, because I do want you to see as much of that shading. I'm going the wrong way with this. I have to bring it back up. I do want you to see as much of those dark areas as possible, so it is going to be quite bright as I can get it without making it too whitewashed. As you can see close up, guys, it is just too far open in the chest area. I won't get into too many of the other inaccuracies, but I will mention that emblem, that bat emblem on the front, is a little bit too big, and I think it is a part of the reason as to why the sculpt is all off. You can see, as I mentioned before, that it is too open at the front, and these pieces here on either side are supposed to be lower down, closer to the tip of the bat emblem. So they're in the wrong place. But focusing in on the cape, you can see the wires in it there, and the fact that they don't help to close it. It is quite a large cape, as you can see, quite a big cape, probably one of the bigger Batman capes if I'm not mistaken. It could wrap right around him, as you can see there, and that is kind of accurate, the fact that it does have this big tip on the end of it. As I mentioned, the bat emblem isn't exactly accurate. It's a little bit too big. Just turning them around there and just giving you a look at the back of it, and there we go. It doesn't drape at all, guys. It has no intentions on draping because it is wired. Every rib there is wired, so it has no intention of draping. But even the way it sits on his shoulders there, guys, is just horrible. It doesn't look accurate at all. It's too rigid, it's too thick. I know in the movie, the one in the movie that he wears is thick. It's almost like a velvet. I'm just feeling in all the ribs there, guys. Yeah, every single rib has a wire running down it. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 6. Is it 6 wires running down it? And they don't function very well because of the weight of the material. If I just try and bend it out there, it kind of. It does, but it doesn't, it doesn't really support the weight of the cape. You can see it flopping back down there. It wouldn't pull it way out like the Hot Toys, the Batman 2022 figure. That the wires in that work quite well. But this one here, the material is way too heavy. So even the function that it is for, which is for dynamic posing, the wiring doesn't work, and it doesn't work for draping either. So it has absolutely no function whatsoever, in my opinion. At the side, it doesn't sit too bad. You can kind of see the shape of his arm in it there, and it folds okay from the side profile, but there's still a lot of futzing to be done with the cape, to get it right. I'll just turn him back around there and give you another look at the front. Will he stand up? Yeah. Like I said, just can't get it closed, can't get it to sit right. No matter what way I put it, it just won't sit right. and looks too rigid, always looks too rigid because of the wires in it, and doesn't look like it has any flow in it at all, guys. Which is a shame because it is a nice size. Now I will get into the size difference in the two capes in just a moment, but just giving you a quick last look at the cape before we move on to that. And as you can see there, guys, it just does that kind of triangle shape, just like most Hot Toys Batman capes. It just does that pyramid shape there, and it's completely inaccurate. So there you go, that's the stock figure. Just moving on there, we'll have a look at the capes. That's the Jaxon Xu Drape Cape flat out there, and I'm just going to compare the sizes, guys, and I'm going to put the Hot Toys one over it, and you can see that the Jaxon Xu Cape is significantly longer and significantly wider. There's far more material in it, guys, and because it's so much thinner, in my opinion, probably a little bit too thin. It looks movie accurate, it just doesn't feel that way, you know. Looking at it on the shelf, it looks quite movie accurate. I just want to show you guys as well, if you are changing this out for the cape, you do have to twist these and pull them. Don't just pull them straight out or you'll break something. You do have to twist inwards. Twist inwards or outwards. Outwards. Twist outwards or inwards, I think. But make sure you twist it before you pull it out. Or you'll break something. And just another quick glance at the original cape there before we switch over to the Jaxon Xu cape. And there we have the Jaxon Xu cape, guys. Immediately, straight off the bat, drapes as it should. Some people might argue that it looks too thin. It might do, because I know the cape he uses in the first one is quite thick. But on the shelf, guys, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I just want to brighten that light a little bit there so you can see a bit more. You can see it is completely accurate. Now, I do have to do a little bit more futzing with it there to get rid of that kind of ridge that happens. I'll have to futz it around a bit. But still, even with just pretty much just throwing it onto the figure without any futzing, it looks great. It looks better than the Hot Toys one. I have left the Hot Toys head sculpt on there for a minute, just for a reason we'll get into in a moment. Yeah, so like I said, it just drapes naturally. It goes around his shoulders. You can see the whole shape of his shoulders there. And if I just pull it out there, you can see it goes all the way to the ground. And there's so much material, so much of it, and it looks accurate. I know there is some scenes where the cape is shorter and that, but for what I'm going for what I'm looking for with that big long cape covering pretty much everything is the image I'm going for. Just looking at the head sculpt there, guys, and getting into it. If I can get this camera to stable again. It's not working for me. It is. No, it's not. And there we go. Do we have it? I need to get a new mount for the camera. But there we go. Anyway, guys, you can see there that he is missing the two pieces that I removed earlier for the original cape. These two pieces here. I think there is a left and a right, because it says L on the bottom of both of mine, and I think I got two lefts. But I do believe if you pull them out, they should say an L and an R on them. And I just happen to get two lefts. I'm not sure if it makes a difference or not, but just pulling the cape back there, you can see where the holes are supposed to be for popping these pins into. Can't be done with the Jaxon Xu cape. You will have to make holes in the Jaxon Xu cape. If you don't have a replacement head sculpt, you're going to have to make the holes yourself and pop them in there, which is not something I'd be too keen on doing, to be honest with you. I'm not saying it'd be difficult to do, it's just not something I'd want to do, and I'm quite glad that I got the replacement head sculpt as well with those pieces already mounted to it. And I recommend anybody who is going as far as getting the cape to just go and get the head sculpt as well, because you'll see now in a few minutes that it makes such a huge difference. Just having a look at that there, the neck is too long on it straight away. That's the first thing I notice. Just moving the cape around to the back so you can have a look at the back of it. If I can get them on there. There we go. Again, the shoulders, all the shape of the shoulders, you can see how it contours down his arms to his elbow and then comes out a bit more. It's, again, guys, I will say again, I do have to kind of futz it a little bit more. It's on on a bit crude. I would have to spend a few minutes trying to get it all lined up right and get all the wrinkles out of it. But even straight out of packaging and putting it straight on them, guys, it looks absolutely fantastic. I love how long it is. I love how it drops right down and gathers up on the ground just like it does in some of the scenes in the movie. And just again, like I said, the shape of his shoulders is perfect in with that cape on, and there's no bunching, there's no footsing with wires. It just does exactly what it's supposed to do, and it just literally drapes there, and gravity does all the work for it because it's so thin. It drapes so well, and the gravity just does all the work. I will say again, some people might argue that it is too thin, but again, I'll say back that it doesn't look that way on the shelf, guys. Just moving into the head sculpt, I've put the pins back on it there, and I still have the Jaxon Xu cape on there, just to show you that if you do have the cape, and in order to put the pins back on, you are going to have to pull it back over the shoulder there, and which looks good. In some scenes he has it just like that, and just over the edges in a lot of scenes. I think in all the scenes that I remember, he has the edge of the cape just over the even when it is pulled over him, the edge of the cape goes over the cowl. This line here on the Hot Toys one isn't completely accurate. You can see it sinks in just towards the bottom. It's just there, it just sinks in, which isn't movie accurate, guys. It's supposed to kind of have one curve on it, so it's a little bit inaccurate in that side of things. If you lean them forward, it does look a little bit better, but it's still inaccurate. It does dip in about halfway down, and it's not really supposed to. I'm trying to get that look as much as possible without knocking him over. His nose points out too far as I'm concerned. It looks too pointy. I don't think his nose is that big, and just some definition in the cheeks and stuff like that just aren't accurate to me. Because the faceplate is so narrow, it makes his mandible, it makes his jawbone look really, really, really wide. Now, I know in the movie it looked really wide, but just with this figure here, the faceplate is just too narrow and too long. So it makes him look like he's got a long face, a long chin, and a narrow face, you know, where the faceplate should be way wider. Like, it should be way wider than that, and which would make the mandibles look less pronounced. And I know in the movie with the cowl on, it does look really pronounced, but it doesn't look that pronounced, guys. That looks oblong. It looks odd. Moving on to his eyes are too big in my opinion. They look a bit gaunt. There's not a whole lot of detail in there. You've got to search in there for the eyes. And the nose piece, again, in my opinion, is just a little bit too wide, and it tapers up into too much of a point up to where it meets his nose. It should be more kind of curved. Again, moving down to those pieces there, like I said, it won't, with the Jaxon Xu cape on, you have to have it over the shoulder. You can't put it, over the front of his shoulder. You can't put it over the front of his shoulder with those pieces on, which is unfortunate. But neither Jaxon Xu or Hot Toys got that right, because they are supposed to be on his chest, not connected to the cowl, but they're supposed to be lower down, closer to the points of the wings of the bat emblem. And I think that's because the bat emblem is off in size, then the placement of those things were off as well by Hot Toys, which led on to everything being off. Where if they were lined up properly to the bat emblem, to the points on it, it would look more accurate. Just moving on to replacing the head sculpt, guys, you've got to take this piece out. You can see there that the Jaxon Xu one doesn't come with it. You've got to get this piece out, and it's not the easiest piece to get out, guys. I used the pliers, as you can see. I put the pliers in behind it and pulled it. Now, I don't care about this Hot Toys head sculpt, guys. I didn't care about damaging it. So I done it a bit crude. You can see there, I call it like a chess piece. It looks like a chess piece to me anyway. This piece here has to go on the body first. I'll just give you a quick look at the head sculpt here, and I'll show you an example of how not to do this before I show you how to do it, because this is where I went wrong. I got this rubber piece here. You can see inside the Hot Toys one there on the right that it's already in, and you can't get that out. It's very difficult to get that out. Do not do this. Do not pop this piece in here first. It goes in way too far, guys. And you can't get that piece to pop in. It will not, no matter how much I pushed, I couldn't get it to pop in. I used hot water. I eventually got it popped in a little bit, but then it wouldn't connect to the head. You can see me struggling there, guys. No, don't do it that way. Here's how to do it the right way. You can see I chewed it up trying to get it back out. I had to put hot water in, soften it up, get a pliers in and pull it out, and it wasn't easy, guys, so don't do what I done. I'll show you now, I'll just show you how deep that is compared to the Hot Toys one. If you push that piece down, it just goes way. And I should have known that was going to happen. I just, jumped the gun. So don't do it that way. And I will show you how to do it now, guys, which is, some people might say, wow, that was obvious. Why did you make the mistake in the first place? We all make errors. We know how to do stuff after we've done it, So stick the chest piece on, as I call it, onto the head sculpt, onto the body, should I say. Then stick the rubber piece on, and then you can push the head sculpt on as far as it needs to go. That is how it's done, guys. Don't do what I done, because it's just going to bring you into a whole world of hurt. Yeah, that's how you put the sculpt on, guys. So moving on, I suppose. And just having a quick look at the Hot Toys Abomination, as I call it. I didn't call it an abomination until I got the Jaxon Xu one. I called it a bad head sculpt until I got the Jaxon Xu one. Now I call it an abomination. And as you can see here, this is why. This is the Jaxon Xu one now, guys, and to me it is just 100 times better than the Hot Toys one. It's not perfect, it's not without its inaccuracies. It does come with another, just dropped it, brilliant. Let me try that again, guys. It does come with another faceplate, as you can see there, and I think is a slightly more accurate faceplate, which I'll swap out a bit later on. Actually, if I can find that little piece of blue tack that comes with the head sculpt for changing it, there we go. This little piece of what I would call blue tack for changing the sculpt out, I'll just take it out of its packaging, and the faceplate, I'll just take it out of its packaging and we will swap out the faceplate, because I do believe that this other faceplate just looks slightly more accurate, especially for the scene that I'm kind of looking for, or the look that I'm looking for. You just push it on there and pull it off, and that came off a lot easier than I expected. I haven't changed them yet. That's my first time changing one. So not without its issues. It is stuck to his face, and I don't want it coming off in pieces. Is this going to come off in one piece? It looks like it. Yes, absolutely fine, no problem whatsoever. So just grabbing the other faceplate and popping it on there. Like I said, in my opinion, it is slightly more accurate. As you can see there, guys, wow, to me that is just spot on. That is absolutely brilliant. That looks amazing, almost perfect. Like I said, the pieces that are attached to the bottom of the cowl there, they're not supposed to be attached to the cowl, guys. They're supposed to be attached to his chest, but we'll get into that a bit later on. Just spin it around to the side there. Actually, we'll have a look at the front a bit better. Yeah, like I was saying, articulation, that's what I was getting into. It has the exact same articulation as the Hot Toys one, up and down, doesn't go left and right as it didn't in the movie, and it has exactly the same articulation, guys. If I can just get it to focus, there we go. Just moving it around to the side, guys. The nose isn't as pointy, it's more accurate to where his nose would be, if there was actually Christian Bale's head in there. The frown part of the nose just looks a bit more accurate to me as well, like the ridge of the nose. And the cheekbones and all that area kind of look a bit better to me as well. And just moving it around to the back there, I can see from the back there immediately that the neck is shorter and it's wider, exactly as it should be, way more movie accurate. You can see the shape of the dome part as well there is a bit different. And just moving it around to the other side, just showing you there what I meant earlier on about the dip in. It doesn't have the dip in on the Jaxon Xu one. It just has one kind of shape to it, which is more movie accurate. That's the way it was in the movie. And his head, you have to tilt his head forward, in my opinion, with the Jaxon Xu one, just to make it contour to his shoulders a bit better. If you lift the head up, doesn't quite sit at the front, so you do have to kind of lean it forward. But looking at that at the front, guys, that is absolutely spot on. That's Christian Bale's head or face in there. The eyes aren't too close together like they are in the Hot Toys one, in my opinion. Just doing a side by side, guys, with the capes. As you can see there, they are vastly different. The Jaxon Xu one there on the right being way more closed, way more accurate. It drapes far, far better, and it just makes the figure look far, far better. I've got the Jaxon Xu head sculpt on the Jaxon Xu one on the right, obviously, as well, and you can see the shape of the sculpt as well is just far better. But just focusing on the cape for now, I constantly have to futz with the Hot Toys one, where with the Jaxon Xu one, you just put the figure down and it's pretty much where it needs to be. The back is a huge difference, guys. As per usual with the Drape capes, the back of the cape always looks bad with the Hot Toys one when you look at it from the back. I know we're not looking at the figures from the back, but it's just the overall drape of it. It helps, you know, even looking at it from the front if it's sitting right at the back. Just giving a quick close-up there to see, you know, how it drapes. It looks fantastic. And to me, guys, it's night and day. It completely elevates the figure. It makes the figure look less toyish. It might even be argued that it makes it look statuesque, and it hides a lot of the details of him, but he's not the most accurate figure anyway, so I don't mind hiding those inaccuracies, the gauntlets and the emblem. Looking at the head sculpt side by side, guys, it looks night and day. Again, they're not both of them without their flaws. I find the center piece where the frown is at the top of the nose is over exaggerated on the Jaxon Xu one. It's not that pronounced, you know, in the movie. I think the Hot Toys one is a bit more accurate. I think the nose is a bit more accurate on the Jaxon Xu one, and it looks way more accurate. Even just below the eye, you can see where it comes out further on the Jaxon Xu one, just below the eye, and it kind of makes more of a triangular shape. That is more movie accurate, guys, as far as I can tell by looking at stills anyway. And even the way the sharpness of the edges of the mask around the cheekbones up to where it meets the ears and over above the eye is far sharper on the Jaxon Xu one. I know the Jaxon Xu one has a seam line up the side of it there that I'm not particularly fond of. It's not a deal breaker, it's not hideous, but it is there. Looking at the back of the cowl there, like I said, completely different. The one on the right being the Jaxon Xu one is far more accurate. I know the one on the left looks way more detailed. There is a lot more detail in the back of it, but it's not accurate. The shape of it isn't actually accurate. I'm not sure about the shape of his dome at the top. You can see they are very different, the shape of his skull in the back of the cowl, so I'm not really sure honestly which one is more accurate, but the back of the cowl, the bottom of it, is far more accurate on the Jaxon Xu one. Again, from the side there, to me, the Jaxon Xu one is far more detailed, far more accurate to the Christian Bale, especially the faceplate there. Looking at the eyes, guys, the eyes to me are too close on the Hot Toys one. They're just right on the Jaxon Xu one. You can see the eyes in there, where on the Hot Toys one, you're kind of looking for the eyes, where they're plain as day. The whitey eye is plain as day on the Jaxon Xu one. The faceplate is the right width. And if I just put up an image there in the middle, guys, of a movie still, you can see, to me anyway, the Jaxon Xu one replicates that one. And I think that is the image that Jaxon Xu used, really, because it looks like it to me anyway. And I think that this image here is the image that maybe Hot Toys used, because it's the closest I could find maybe to the Hot Toys one, where it looks a little bit narrower and his chin looks a bit longer. But I still think overall the Jaxon Xu one is far, far superior, guys. And the images speak for themselves. There we are again, just a different look at that image again, just to show you that the Jaxon Xu one, in my opinion, is far more accurate, at least to that image there anyway. The neck is the right length, the width of the faceplate is the right width, the length of it is the right width, the nose, it's pretty much, except for just above the middle of the eyes, basically in between the eyes where it frowns, just isn't exactly accurate on the Jaxon Xu one. But there you have it, guys. I'm gonna leave you with some images now, and Please hit that like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and like I said, subscribe if you want to see more content. Thanks a lot and take care.